The World Series continues, but no, the Dodgers did not punt. Lincoln Riley has barred the press from watching USC football practice, and Angel City's rebuild actually starts by keeping a core player. Good morning. I'm James. This is your daily dose of sports and snark for the greatest sports city in the world, Los Angeles. This is the faithful Angelenos Morning Report. It's October 30th, 2024. I am on the road, a bit of an emergency, personal thing. What are you going to do? But hey, tough night for the Angelenos. We talk LA sports in good times and bad. And if you like being in the know about LA sports, clickety-clack the like button. Clickety-clack the subscribe button. There's a notification bell. Hit that. It'll let you know when we drop new content. Sharing is caring. Let people know we exist, and by all means comment. Now, before we go through the news and notes, a look at the scoreboard. Yankees 11, Dodgers 4. The plus side was Freddie Freeman hit a home run in a 6th consecutive World Series game. Everything else, and we'll talk more about that in a moment. Dodgers lead the series, by the way, 3-1. San Jose 4, Kings 2. The Kings allowed 3 goals in the third period. Akil Thomas and Alex Laferriere scored. Meanwhile, today, Game 5 of the World Series, Dodgers versus Yankees, Jack Flaherty versus Garrett Cole. The Lakers are in Cleveland at 4 o'clock. D'Angelo Russell might sit out. He's got a problem with his back. Portland is at the... Oh, by the way, Christian Coloco has been cleared to play for the Lakers. Portland is at the Clippers at 7:30. Portland is just 1-3 on the season, and Las Vegas is in town to play the Kings at 7. We'll have to find out if Kevin Fiala plays tonight. He was benched for the San Jose game last night because he missed a team meeting. And now let's get to the news. It is not fun at all to get your ass kicked. Let's be real. But did the Dodgers punt? Because that was the going line from the scribes after Game 4. The LA Times, the LA Daily News, the national press, oh, the Dodgers punted. And this is why scribes and people should never mix sports terms. It's never smart because each sport is different for a reason, okay? Seeing somebody scoring 3 times in a basketball game is not a hat trick. The court would be covered in cheap, disgusting, sweat-covered lids all game long. There would no longer be an NBA. They would no longer be in the basketball business. They would be in the hat business. And how does this apply to the Dodgers last night? Well, why do you punt in football? Why? You punt to avoid further damage. You punt because it is the least risky strategy in order to avoid getting your ass kicked in a game. They allowed 11 runs. Where was the risk avoidance in that game? You tell me. They got clobbered. It's perfectly fine to say that you got your ass kicked. It's not a matter of punting. Bullpen games are inherently risky, for Pete's sakes. That's the opposite of punting. The Dodgers had no choice because of the injuries to their starters. And by the way, the Yankees made the World Series for a reason. So no, I do not consider this a punt at all. Sometimes you just have to admit you lost a fight. Daniel Hudson versus the heart of that lineup was not punting. That was too risky. His effectiveness has faded over the second half of the year. And besides, how do I know that this was scheduled to be a Yankees butt kicking? Not saying the game was rigged. How do we know? Everybody in the Bronx was willing to do whatever it took to avoid a sweep. Somebody who looked like he came from a Sopranos reboot tried to swallow Mookie Betts' glove with his double chin. Did you see that? They they came down on 2 schlubs who literally was assaulting Mookie Betts trying to catch a ball out in the foul territory of right field. And make no mistake, that was an assault because one of those dudes was punching Betts in the arm. And by the way, they caught up with the guys who got thrown out for doing it. They claimed that they were going to D up. D'ing up. And by the way, they're saying that they're going to be allowed to have the same seats for Game 5. Now look, I don't want to go overboard on the moral outrage, right? Because there were some Dodger fans in the Padres series that went over the line. But at least those dudes who were like doing dumb stuff at Dodger Stadium weren't claiming that they were D'ing up, that it was their birthright. So the less said about allowing 11 runs, the better. It's going to come down to tonight. And this is what brings out the real risk, because Dodgers pitching is actually going to start to get tested. Jack Flaherty goes tonight. If he goes to Game 6 back out at Dodger Stadium, you're talking about Yoshinobu Yamamoto. They have not thrived on what you and I would refer to as regular rest as a starting pitcher. Flaherty, for example, his fastball drops about 2 miles an hour on 4 days rest, which is normal rest, as opposed to 5 and 6. Remember, the guy had an entire week off between the National League Championship Series and Game 1 of the World Series, came out in Game 1 and flamed guys. So, this is where things get a little risky. But, once again, you are asking the Dodgers, in order for the Yankees to get this ring, you're asking the Yankees to win 4 consecutive games over the team that had the best record in Major League Baseball this year. They got 1. I don't see it happening. I don't. But you let me know what you think in the comments thread, of course. USC football has closed practices from the press corps. They would allow the press literally just to come in and watch practice for about 10 minutes and then scoot them out behind closed doors so they can get more work in. Now, as a former scribe, if I were still covering, I'd be upset. You've made my job just that much harder because, of course, you want access. And not only do you want access, you want to provide a little bit of flavor to your reporting by waxing poetic about what was going on in the practice field. But here's the thing. In this case, I actually understand Lincoln Riley's point of view, even though he didn't say it. He didn't. What he did say was how, we had a short week last week and we really locked in practice, and I love the way they responded, so we're just going to focus on the work. Here's what he didn't say, but what I believe he really meant. And no, I've never met Lincoln Riley, but this is what I think, and I think I've got solid ground on this one. Guys, a lot of you guys are talking about how I'm going to get fired. That's a distraction for everybody, not just me, for all of these players. We've got enough on our plate. We're still bowl eligible, provided we put up enough W's. We don't need to be talking about my job status. We don't need my players talking about my job status. We need to get to work. Now, I will acknowledge that Lincoln Riley, oddly enough, has had this really awkward relationship with the LA press, which is strange because most of the guys in the LA press are not bomb throwers. They're not guys who are looking for a hot take outside of Bill Plaschke, who's been lobbying for Riley to get fired for a while now. But again, I really believe that Lincoln Riley is like, I can't deal with you guys right now. My players can't deal with this speculation, and our season isn't over yet. We're not talking about saving my job. We're talking about becoming eligible for a bowl. We need to lock in and work. I can respect that. I can actually live with that. Sydney Leroux has signed a 3-year contract to stay with Angel City FC. This will much pretty be the final stop in her career. She's 34 years old. Hell, I don't even know if she's going to play for the entirety of the contract. Now, she said as much to ESPN and added that her kids wanted to see her continue to play, which is nice. She is 8th on the NWSL's all-time scoring list. So there's going to be changes, theoretically, to Angel City FC. They missed the playoffs. They're the most valuable team in women's sports. You can't be that and continually miss the playoffs. So I don't know what Angel City has planned for the rest of the roster. I don't have a problem with them at all keeping Sydney Leroux. The NHL season is still in its infancy, and to be honest with you, I don't think we know yet whether the Kings are a good hockey team or not. But Alex Laferriere is making believers in the league. And this is only his second year. Last year, he only scored 12 goals. He has 5 so far this year. 5. Season's like what, 10 games old? Now, he's not particularly creative with the puck. I don't want to give you some idea of this guy's just like a maestro setting everybody else up. That's not what he does. What he is fast and aggressive. Plays on a straight line. Pardon me, dealing with cold. And what that does is when you're quicker to the puck than everybody else, when you're aggressive enough to get to the front of the net, you've put yourself in scoring position. And that's what Alex Laferriere excels at. The Kings need that. They need anything they can get from their wings. UCLA is recognizing that Nebraska's football team will pose a unique challenge this week. It's not that the Cornhuskers' talent level is like vastly superior compared to the rest of the schedule. UCLA has played a lot of elite football teams this year. LSU had a superior talent level. Penn State had a superior talent level. But what Nebraska brings is unique attributes, which is an odd way of saying it. But for example, the Cornhuskers have 4 wide receivers who are all 6'4" or taller. So, in other words, the defense is telling the LA Daily News that their cornerbacks and safeties have been practicing defending those jump ball passes. Also, another thing, quarterback Dylan Raiola doesn't have a favorite receiver. He does what basically USC used to be able to do with Caleb Williams. They would just spread the ball all over the place. 4 wide receivers with Nebraska have at least 20 catches. The ball gets spread out. So UCLA is going to have to keep their head on a swivel and, of course, as previously mentioned, watch out for the jump ball. The drama queens of LA. Your LA Sparks, my LA Sparks. They don't have a coach. They're coming off the worst season in their history. They were the worst team in the league. They have a lottery pick from last year who is more concerned with breaking the internet than scoring. And after all of that drama, which they inflicted on themselves, I might add, and have inflicted on themselves for the last few years, they don't even have the advantage of landing the top pick in the upcoming WNBA draft. They had the worst record in the league. True. They have a 44% chance of landing the top pick. But the Dallas Wings, by virtue of acquiring a second lottery pick in a trade, have a 45% chance. It's literally a coin flip. And by the way, this upcoming WNBA draft is not loaded with actual prospects, right? There's pretty much only one sure thing in the group, UConn guard Paige Buchers. So it's a coin flip, whether or not all of that losing is actually going to turn into something productive. So well done, Yas Queens, boss chicks. Well done. Look forward to another summer of pointless stupidity and thirst trap picks. But you let me know what you think in the comments thread. Are you, in fact, worried about the Dodgers after last night? And really, should you really? For that matter, are you okay with Lincoln Riley's approach of putting up a stonewall for the press? And if you enjoyed the content, don't forget to subscribe to Faithful Angelenos. We talk LA sports every single day here. Thank you for watching. I'm James. We'll be back tomorrow. Faithful Angelenos is a Ken Cortez Queso production. Take care.